Most people believe that weak legs are simply a natural result of getting older. They assume that losing strength, balance, and control is something that happens automatically with age. Because of that, they stop questioning it. They accept slower movement, instability, and discomfort as something normal. But this assumption is misleading. If you look at different populations around the world, you start to notice something interesting. In countries like Japan, many older adults maintain a level of lower body control that does not match this belief. People in their 60s and 70s can still sit on the floor, stand up without assistance, and move with a level of coordination that seems unusual compared to what is typically seen in Western lifestyles. This difference is not explained by genetics alone. It is largely influenced by daily habits and movement patterns. To understand what is happening, it is necessary to look at how the body actually functions. The legs are not only responsible for producing force, they are also responsible for stability, balance, and coordination. These functions depend on multiple muscle groups working together in a precise sequence. When that sequence is maintained, movement feels controlled and efficient. When it is disrupted, movement becomes slower, less stable, and less predictable. In modern daily life, especially in Western environments, most people spend a large portion of their time sitting. This includes sitting during meals, sitting while working, sitting during transportation, and sitting during leisure activities. Over time, this reduces the variety of movements the body performs. The hips remain in a fixed position for long periods. The knees move through a limited range. The ankles are rarely fully engaged. This lack of movement variety leads to gradual changes in how the body operates. Muscles that are not regularly used begin to contribute less. This does not necessarily mean they disappear, but their ability to activate at the right time becomes weaker. The body adapts to doing less work, and as a result, it becomes less capable of handling more demanding movements. One of the most important concepts to understand is that strength alone is not the main issue. Many people focus on the idea that they simply need stronger muscles. However, the real problem is often coordination. Coordination refers to how different muscles work together to produce smooth and controlled movement. Without coordination, even relatively strong muscles cannot perform effectively. This is why some people may still have reasonable muscle mass, but experience instability or difficulty with simple actions like standing up, turning, or maintaining balance. The issue is not only the amount of strength available, but how well that strength is organized and applied. This decline usually happens gradually. At first, the changes are subtle. A person may begin to rely on their hands when standing up. They may feel less stable when changing direction. They may avoid sitting on the floor because it feels uncomfortable or difficult. These small adjustments are often ignored because they do not seem serious at the time. However, these are early indicators that the body is beginning to lose functional movement patterns. When these patterns are not used regularly, the body becomes less efficient at performing them. Over time, movements that were once automatic require more effort and attention. A useful way to evaluate this is to consider a simple question. If you were to sit on the floor right now, how confident would you feel about standing back up without using your hands? This single action involves multiple systems working together. It requires strength in the legs, stability in the hips, coordination between different muscle groups, and balance throughout the movement. For many people, this action becomes difficult not because they are incapable, but because they have not practiced it for a long time. The body prioritizes the movements it performs regularly. If a movement is rarely used, the body reduces its ability to perform it efficiently. One of the main contributors to this issue is the widespread use of chairs. Chairs provide comfort and convenience, but they also limit natural movement patterns. When sitting in a chair, the hips remain flexed at a consistent angle. The glutes, which are important for producing force and maintaining stability, are less active. The core muscles, which support posture and balance, are also less engaged. Over time, this leads to a reduction in the body's ability to coordinate complex movements. Standing up from a chair becomes a simplified version of a more demanding movement. The body does not need to fully engage the same muscles or move through the same range of motion as it would when rising from the floor. As a result, when a person is required to perform a more complex movement, such as standing up from the ground, the body is not prepared. The muscles may not activate in the correct sequence. The joints may not move efficiently. The person may feel unstable or unsure. This creates a delay in reaction time. When something unexpected happens, such as a small slip or a sudden change in direction, the body needs to respond quickly. If the coordination between muscles is reduced, this response becomes slower. Even a small delay can increase the risk of losing balance. This is where confidence becomes an important factor. When people feel that their body does not respond reliably, they begin to move more cautiously. They avoid certain positions. They limit their range of movement. This behavior is understandable, but it can lead to further decline. Reducing movement leads to less stimulation of the muscles and coordination systems. This reinforces the problem. The body becomes less capable, which increases caution, which further reduces movement. This creates a cycle that can be difficult to break. It is important to recognize that this cycle is not caused by age alone. It is strongly influenced by how the body is used. In environments where people continue to perform a wider variety of movements, these issues are less pronounced. In Japan, for example, traditional lifestyles often include more floor-based activities. People sit, kneel, and transition between positions more frequently. These actions require the body to maintain coordination, balance, and strength in a more integrated way. As a result, the muscles and joints remain more functional over time. This does not mean that people in these environments do not experience aging. It means that their bodies retain certain abilities because they continue to use them. The principle is simple. The body maintains what it uses and reduces what it does not use. For someone who feels that their legs are becoming weaker or less reliable, this understanding is important. It shifts the focus from thinking about loss to thinking about reactivation. The goal is not only to build strength, but to restore coordination and movement patterns that have become inactive. This requires a different approach. Instead of focusing only on isolated exercises, it is more effective to use movements that involve multiple joints and muscle groups working together. These movements help re-establish the connections that allow the body to function as a system. It is also important to start at an appropriate level. If a movement feels difficult, it can be modified. Support can be used when necessary. The key is to reintroduce the movement gradually and consistently. Many of the abilities people assume are permanently lost are often still present at a reduced level. With the right type of movement, these abilities can improve. The body is capable of adapting at any age, as long as it receives the right stimulus. This is where the concept of reliable legs becomes relevant. Strength is important, but reliability is more important. Reliable legs are able to respond when needed. They provide support without hesitation. They allow a person to move with confidence. When the legs are reliable, everyday activities become easier. Standing, walking, and changing direction feel more controlled. The person does not need to think as much about each movement. This reduces mental effort and increases overall comfort. The process of improving this reliability begins with understanding the problem. It is not simply about weakness. It is about reduced coordination, limited movement patterns, and decreased use of certain positions. Once this is understood, the next step is to begin reintroducing movements that address these issues. These movements do not need to be complex. In fact, simple movements are often more effective because They are easier to perform consistently. In the next part, the focus will shift from the problem to the solution. Specific positions and transitions will be introduced that help reactivate the muscles and coordination systems of the lower body. These movements are inspired by traditional practices that have been used for generations. They do not require special equipment. They do not require a high level of fitness. They are designed to be accessible and practical. The goal is to gradually rebuild the connection between different parts of the body. By practicing these movements regularly, it is possible to improve not only strength, but also balance, coordination, and confidence. Over time, this can lead to a noticeable improvement in how the body feels and functions. The key idea to remember is that many of the changes people experience are not permanent losses. They are often the result of reduced use. With the right approach, these abilities can be developed again. In the next section, these movements will be explained in detail, along with how to perform them safely and effectively. The next step is to begin reactivating the movement patterns that have been reduced over time. This does not require complex exercises or high-intensity training. The goal is to reintroduce positions and transitions that encourage the body to coordinate multiple muscle groups again. These movements are simple, but they are effective because they reflect how the body is naturally designed to move. The first position is a kneeling sit, commonly known as seiza. To begin, kneel on the floor with your knees close together. Place the tops of your feet flat on the ground behind you. Slowly lower your hips back toward your heels until you are sitting upright. Your spine should remain tall, and your shoulders should stay relaxed. At first, this position may feel uncomfortable, especially in the ankles or knees. This is normal for people who are not used to this type of position. If needed, a folded towel or cushion can be placed between the hips and the heels to reduce pressure. The goal is not to force the position, but to allow the body to gradually adapt. This position helps restore mobility in the ankles, which is important for balance and walking. It also places the thighs under gentle tension and encourages the hips to open. In addition, the muscles responsible for posture must remain active to keep the body upright. This creates a low-level activation of the core and stabilizing muscles. Holding this position for even 30 to 60 seconds can begin to reintroduce these patterns. Over time, the duration can be increased as the body becomes more comfortable. The key is consistency rather than intensity. The second movement is a wide stance squat, similar to a horse stance. Stand with your feet wider than shoulder width and turn your toes slightly outward. From this position, bend your knees and lower your hips down between your legs. Keep your chest upright and your spine neutral. This movement targets several important muscle groups at the same time. The inner thighs become active, the outer hips stabilize the movement, and the glutes contribute to controlling the descent and ascent. The muscles around the knees also become more organized, which helps improve joint stability. It is not necessary to go very low. The priority is to maintain control and proper alignment. The knees should move in the same direction as the toes and should not collapse inward. If balance is an issue, light support from a chair or wall can be used. Holding this position for 20 to 30 seconds is sufficient in the beginning. Some shaking in the legs is normal and indicates that the muscles are being engaged. Over time, this movement can improve both strength and coordination in the lower body. The third movement focuses on a transition that is highly relevant to daily life. Standing up from the floor. This movement requires coordination between multiple joints and muscle groups. It is more complex than standing up from a chair and therefore provides a more complete stimulus for the body. Start from a seated or kneeling position on the floor. Lean slightly forward to shift your weight. Move into a tall kneeling position. Then bring one foot forward so that it is flat on the ground. From there, press through that foot and use your legs to rise to a standing position. It is important to perform this movement slowly and with control. Avoid using momentum or pushing off with the hands unless necessary. The goal is to allow the legs to do most of the work. This helps re-establish the sequence of muscle activation that is required for this type of movement. If the full movement is too difficult, support can be used. Holding onto a stable object such as a chair or table can reduce the load while still allowing the legs to participate. As strength and coordination improve, the amount of support can be gradually reduced. Practicing this transition regularly can significantly improve functional strength. It directly relates to real-life situations where the ability to get up from the ground is important. It also reinforces confidence in the body's ability to perform this movement. The fourth position is a seated floor posture with an upright spine. Sit on the floor with your legs crossed in a comfortable position. If needed, sit on a cushion to elevate the hips slightly. This can make it easier to maintain an upright posture. Once in position, lengthen your spine and keep your head aligned over your shoulders. Relax the shoulders and allow the arms to rest naturally. The focus is on maintaining a stable and upright position while breathing normally. This position may appear passive, but it requires continuous low-level muscle activation. The muscles of the trunk must remain engaged to prevent slouching. The hips are gradually opened, and the lower body remains involved in maintaining the position. Spending 5 minutes in this posture can help improve postural endurance. It also provides an opportunity for the body to become more comfortable with floor-based positions. Over time, this can reduce stiffness and improve overall movement quality. These 4 movements can be combined into a simple daily routine. In the morning, begin with 30 to 60 seconds of the kneeling position. This helps prepare the joints and muscles for the day. Follow this with 20 to 30 seconds of the wide stance squat. After that, perform 2 to 3 repetitions of the floor-to-stand transition. Focus on moving slowly and maintaining control. The goal is to reinforce proper movement patterns rather than to complete a high number of repetitions. In the evening, the routine can be repeated with slight adjustments. Begin with 5 minutes of the seated floor posture. This helps relax the body and reduce tension accumulated during the day. Follow this with the wide stance squat and then the floor-to-stand transitions. This routine does not require a large time commitment. It can be completed in a few minutes and does not require any equipment. The simplicity of the routine makes it easier to maintain consistency, which is the most important factor for improvement. It is also important to approach these movements with patience. The goal is not to achieve perfect form immediately, but to gradually improve over time. Small improvements in comfort, control, and confidence are meaningful indicators of progress. As these movements are practiced regularly, the body begins to adapt. Muscles become more responsive, joints move more freely, and coordination improves. These changes may not be immediately dramatic, but they accumulate over time. The overall objective is to restore the body's ability to move as a coordinated system. This includes improving strength, but also enhancing the timing and interaction between different muscle groups. When this system functions well, movement becomes more efficient and less effortful. By focusing on these simple but effective movements, it is possible to address the underlying causes of reduced leg function. This approach supports long-term mobility and independence by maintaining the body's ability to perform essential movements. Consistency remains the key factor. Even short, regular practice can lead to noticeable improvements. The body responds to repeated exposure to movement, and over time, these patterns become more natural. This process is not limited by age. With the right type of movement and a consistent approach, the body can continue to adapt and improve.